Okay, so let us get down to business. So obviously this is the 90-minute open level Forrest Yoga class. I will be letting you know when I'm using like very traditional Forrest Yoga stuff, like what would be sort of classic Forrest Yoga, and then some of the other things that I tend to do a wee bit differently. So I'll let you know the distinction between that, because that can be useful when you go to other sessions. For today, prop-wise, if you've got a block, that will be marvellous. If you don't have a block or you've nothing like that, a rolled up towel into a cylinder like this, so this is the Forrest Yoga roll, we use these a lot, that would be super useful to use mostly for the activations of the inner thighs, but also we'll use it to support some of the other poses. If you have a strap, that can prove useful. If you don't have one, don't panic. It's a just in case deal. For the first part of class, we tend to start with the meditative part and intent setting and breath work. If you have had an absolute day of it and you want to do this part laying down, you are welcome to do this part laying down on your back. Alternatively, sit up, close your eyes, and switch on deep breathing. So this is that time to get really focused in on what we're doing. If you're sitting, endeavour to lift the ribcage away from your pelvis. If you're laying down, do any little movements here, like drawing your shoulders down, lengthening the back of the neck. And gradually begin to transition your breathing from the unconscious breath process that you've had throughout the day to a very deliberate breath. Aiming to slow down your breathing so that it feels like it is at its most absorbent. And for those of you that are newer to a yoga practice, you might find that doing a very thorough breath throughout the session in all the poses is already demanding enough of your attention. And you can stick with that as your theme for this evening. If you feel like there's still a little bit of bandwidth available, your aim is to build on this sensation, so creating space and a very thorough breath, but to feel for sensations of pleasure. And it's an interesting one in a yoga practice. Some schools of yoga, well actually, a lot of yogic experience exists on a spectrum from connecting to physical sensations and pleasure at one end of the spectrum to an avoidance of sensation and pleasure and seeing it as a distraction. So for today's class, we're kind of swinging more towards almost the tantric end of the spectrum to connect to the felt senses in the poses. And that can be either sensations of enjoyment or the feeling of things feeling good. So right now, as you do your deep breathing, perhaps in relation to the rest of the day, do your breathing in a way that feels good. Continue to do that while you hear and listen to what the pranayama is going to be. So we're going to be splitting up the pranayama into two different rounds. The first round is Kapalabhati. To do Kapalabhati, you're doing sharp exhales through the nose, so you get this sort of bellows style breath from the abdomen. It sounds like this. I'm doing mine through the mouth because hay fever, you would not want me to do that through the nose. So you can obviously do it through the mouth. You're doing 75 Kapalabhati exhales. So that's 75 in one sitting. After you've done that, you're then changing the cross on the legs. Same deal if you're laying on your back. And doing 2 rounds of alternate nostril breathing. There's no count associated with alternate nostril breathing this time. So you'll be doing an inhale until full, holding the breath for as long as feels good, and exhaling through the other side again for as long as feels good, and then reversing that. That's 1 round. You will then do another full round of that. All right, if you're on your back, you can totally stay on your back for the pranayama. Use your fingertips behind you. If you're seated, lift your chest up and get a feel for the heart lifting up away from the ground, shoulder blades drawing back. Exhale through the mouth until you're empty. Inhale halfway full, And then begin that 75 Kapalabhati exhales. Before you go into the alternate nostril breathing, take a couple of deep breaths following the Kapalabhati exhales. Change the cross in your legs. Take the left hand forwards and bend the index and middle finger of the left hand in. This is allowing you to use the thumb and ring finger as a pincer. If that feels like a dexterity lesson, use thumb and index finger. So it will be inhaling right, hold, exhale left, inhale, hold, exhale. That's one round, then do one more round. I like to keep one hand behind when doing alternate nostril breathing so that I'm not using my hip flexors to stay upright, I'm using my arm for support. So if you have not already started, close off your left nostril but exhale through the mouth until you're empty. Close your eyes. Inhale through the right side until you're full. If you're blocked on that side, inhale through the mouth. Hold your breath. Use thumb and ring finger to hold the nostrils. Now, your aim is to hold for as long as feels good. It's part of this connecting to sensation, connecting to pleasure. If it starts getting to the point that it's an increase of anxiety, where you start to feel that sort of gorge rise, then it's kind of gone past that point where it feels good. When you've gotten to that point, then exhale through the left side, very thoroughly but very slowly. So that's one side. You will then inhale left, hold, exhale right, and then repeat that entire series for one more round. As you do this work, allow yourself to connect to the visceral sensations. If visual is one of the things that you're connecting to, close your eyes and redirect your focus from the visual, which doesn't have anything to give you right now, to other sensations. When you are finished, so not to say that you have to finish right now immediately, when you are finished, if you are laying on your back, roll to one side and then bring yourself up towards a cross-legged position. If you're in the center, then close your eyes, focus on your steady breathing. The next exhalation you're doing, if you're doing the pranayama, should probably be the last. If not, then it will be for now. Not your last exhale ever, your last exhale of a pranayama exercise. Alright, so finishing up, coming into half lotus spinal twist. If lotus isn't your jam, so if you've got any knee things going on, cross-legged is going to work fine. If you are doing half lotus, bring the left leg up over the right, aiming to have the right foot underneath the left knee. This should stop any torque in the knee joint. Cross your arms on your chest, so it's very sort of Dracula fantasy. Take a deep breath in, lift up through your chest. Exhale, twist the ribcage to the left. Be vigilant if the left side of your pelvis has drifted back. Almost feel as if the pelvis was fixed in one position, and turn using your chest, turn your chest using your back muscles. Take another deep breath in here, lifting the ribs up. Exhale, release the right hand to the outside of the left knee, elbow bent, left fingertips behind you. Inhale, stretch your ribs up away from the ground. Exhale, pull belly muscles in. If you're in half lotus, perhaps bringing the left arm behind the back to hold the lotus foot, if that feels comfortable. If you've been trained to do twisting in the neck, instead align your chin with your chest. So this allows you to work with a relaxed neck, which is one of the fundamental parts of a Forrest Yoga practice. But it also enables you to work your breath in a much more thorough way. And if you're in a pose and you can't breathe, I'm not sure how you're going to connect to pleasure and delight in the pose. Stay in the pose, but exhale through the mouth until you're empty. Do your slowest possible inhale, and during each part of the inhale, lift up through your rib cage, lift up through the back of the neck, but shoulders are easing down. Exhale, pull belly muscles in. Inhale, come back through center, change the cross in your leg. So that might be half lotus. If not, right leg can be crossed in front of the left. Fold your arms on your chest. So this is just teaching you the difference between like passive twist, where you're using your arms and not really using your musculature, to navigating how far can you go without using your arms to assist. Take a deep breath in, lift the chest up. Exhale, twist your torso to the right. So be very honest, did the right side of the pelvis travel back? Send that right side forwards. Balance the weight between your left and right sit bones. So chances are, as you twisted, you might start leaning either away or towards. Take another deep breath here. Exhale, draw your shoulder blades down, and then take the left hand to the outside of the right knee, right fingertips behind you. Inhale, stretch the rib cage up away from the ground. Exhale, use your arms to help turn your chest to the right. Soften the left elbow, so that is a pulling action. Your upper arm bone, send the upper arm downwards, so you're starting to feel your lats getting involved in the twist. That action can be done with the right arm as well. Even if you are in the half lotus wrap, you can still work that. And as you work this, close your eyes, go inside. So as you do the work of investigating pleasure and delight in your poses, be attentive to what else is in there. So there's this term going around a lot at the minute about spiritual bypassing, where in the constant pursuit of calm, bliss, peace, joy, love, all that stuff, that we negate that there is other things in there. So allow yourself to feel as you do this pursuit of pleasure and delight. What else is in there? What else are you working with? Don't just ignore it. Inhale, bring yourself back through center, unravel your legs, give them a little bit of a shuggle if you're not used to sitting like that. You are coming down onto your back for abdominals. Now, with the abdominals, you're starting with the knees above the pelvis, and the instructions are quite clear. I'm going to show you actually. So when you are extending a leg out, the leg is going to about a 45-degree angle, but no lower than that. If you're taking the leg lower, chances are your pelvis is starting to tip towards the front end of the mat. I'm really interested in you keeping the top rim of your pelvis, where your pelvis meets your spine, on the ground the entire time that we're doing the abdominals. When we move on to the second part of it, the leg will be going up and turning in, but you might find hamstring tension is pulling you away over here. I would rather see your leg bent and the knee above your hip than your leg arbitrarily straight over there. If you've got a roll or a block, have them nearby, and then come down onto your back, getting ready for elbow to knee. So if you're newer to Forrest Yoga, we do the abdominal work at the start of practice, so you have that awareness, that sense of your core from the start of the practice rather than the end of it, which is frequently where abdominals are sequenced. Curl your head and shoulders up from the ground. Lean your head back, but lift up through your upper arm. So that action of humerus reaching away from shoulders, same deal. If you're working knees above pelvis, that's fine. Low back sensitive knees can be more above the abdomen. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath. Curl the tailbone up. Exhale, reach your elbows towards your left leg. Straighten the right leg out at a 45-degree angle, reaching out through the ball of the foot rather than the heel. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, bend legs, shoulders come to center. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, reach elbows to right leg, left leg straightens out. Actively reach out through the toes, but spread the toes. Pull belly down. So that's what active feet is. Inhale, bend legs, knees above hips. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows to left leg, right leg straightens. Pause. Curl the tailbone up more without swinging the legs. Pull belly down. Inhale, bend legs. Shoulders come to center. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, reach elbows to right leg, left leg straightens. Curl the tailbone up a little bit more. Pull belly down. Inhale, bend legs, shoulders come to center. Hold your breath in. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows reach left, right leg straightens. Curl tailbone up a little bit more. pull belly down. Inhale, bend legs, head and shoulders come into the middle. Hold your breath in, curl tailbone up, feet active. Exhale, reach elbows to the right leg, left leg straightens. Actively reach out through the left ball of the foot, pull abdomen down. Inhale, bend legs. Now we're moving into the leg going up towards the ceiling. It's called star spiral pulse. Take a deep breath in, shoulders are up. Hold your breath, curl tailbone up. Exhale, reach elbows to the left leg. Send your right leg straight up, or straight-ish, but turn the toes inwards, foot flexing. Now pause. Take another full inhale here. Without bending and straightening the leg, you're going to pulse up through the thigh bone. So exhale, pulse the thigh bone up 3 times. Like somebody's pulling your thigh up towards the ceiling. Inhale, bend the legs. So it's done by tucking the tailbone, but also reaching out through the thigh. Hold your breath, curl tailbone up. Exhale, reach elbows to right leg, left leg goes up, turn the toes inwards. Take another deep breath. Exhale, slowly pulse that heel up 3 times. So it's exhaling the entire time you're pulsing. Inhale, bend legs. Abdominals should be feeling fiery. Hold your breath, curl tailbone up. Exhale, reach elbows left, right leg goes up, turn the toes in, pulse the heel up 3 times. So now we're streamlining the breath into one breath cycle. Inhale, bend legs. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows to right leg. Left leg up, toes in. Pulse the heel up 3 times. Belly is pulling down. Inhale, bend legs. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, reach elbows to left leg. Right leg goes up. Now pause. Put your right hand on your right thigh, really close to your pelvis, but not on your pelvis. Turn the thigh in. Push your hand against your thigh. Push your thigh against your hand. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, pulse the heel up 3 times, belly down. Inhale, bend legs, that extra bit of resistance. Hold your breath, curl tailbone up. Exhale, reach elbows to right leg, left leg up, toes in. Take your left hand to the left hip crease. Take another deep breath. Exhale, push your hand into your thigh into your hand, but pulse the heel up 3 times. Inhale, bend your legs, set your head down, set your feet down. Now, I know for sure pleasure and delight is already dialed up to the maximum, but we're going to make it even better. Grab your roll or your block or whatever you're using in place of that and put it to the inner thighs as close to your pelvis as possible. If it's near to your knees, it's just a bit uncomfortable, so we want to have it down as close to the inner thighs. Interlace the fingers and then switch the interlace to your non-habitual clasp. Clasp the hands behind your head. Bring the knees up so your knees are above your hips. Now some of you will do this with your legs bent. Some of you will work it with the legs straight. So just see what your hamstrings are willing to negotiate. Inhale, lift the head and the shoulders up. Hold the breath. Squeeze the roll or the block. Exhale, tailbone up. Reach both elbows towards your left leg without any twisting action in the pelvis or lower back. Inhale, head and shoulders come to center, relaxing the tuck in the tailbone, shoulders up. Hold the breath. Squeeze the block or the roll. Exhale, tailbone up. Reach elbows towards your right leg. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, head and shoulders come to center. Hold the breath. Squeeze the roll or the block. Exhale, tailbone up. This time, lift your head and shoulders up the center line. Underarms lift towards the ceiling. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, lay head down. Resting exhale, so it doesn't mean Shavasana, it just means an exhale that is rested. Inhale, lift head and shoulders up. There's more. Hold your breath. Squeeze the roll or the block. Exhale, tailbone up, reach elbows towards your left leg. Curl tailbone a second time, squeeze the block, belly down. Inhale, shoulders to center. Hold your breath, squeeze that roll. Exhale, tailbone up, reach elbows towards your right leg. Curl tailbone a second time, squeeze block or roll, belly down. Inhale, head and shoulders to center. Hold your breath. Squeeze roll or block. Exhale, tailbone up. Reach elbows straight up towards the ceiling, unlocking your shoulders. Pull belly down. Inhale, head down. Resting. Exhale. Still not quite fully resting. Inhale, lift head and shoulders up. So finding some tenacity. Hold the breath. Squeeze the block. Exhale, tailbone up. Reach elbows towards your left thigh. Curl tailbone a second time, squeeze that block, belly down. Inhale, head and shoulders to center. Hold your breath, squeeze the roll. Exhale, tailbone up, reach elbows towards your right leg. Curl tailbone a second time. Squeeze roll, squeeze block. Pull belly down. Inhale, head and shoulders to center. Hold your breath, last one. Squeeze that roll. Exhale, tailbone up, lift head and shoulders up. Curl tailbone a second time. Squeeze the block a bit more. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, head down, feet down, but leave the roll or the block where it is for bridge. Tuck your chin to help lengthen through the back of your neck. Any long hair, just sweep that out from behind your neck. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears, palms face up. Feet are hip distance, feet parallel. Take a huge breath in. Exhale, press into your feet, curl the pelvis up, squeeze the roll or the block, and then lift your hips up. Now you might find to create more space or a better sensation, you're taking the arms overhead. Alternatively, arms can relax down by your side. Refrain from doing a clasp underneath yourself. So your aim is to feel space and lightness around the center of your chest, and the clasp adds just too much tension. So here you are, you've done quite a lot of abdominal work. Breathe space around your abdomen, but feel how that can bring a sense of lightness and mobility to your chest, your low ribs. All right, take another deep breath here in bridge. Exhale, lower down through your shoulders, your mid-back, your low back, and then set your pelvis down. Remove the roll or the block. Take yourself and roll to your left-hand side, and then use your arms to bring yourself up from the ground towards either a kneeling position, if kneeling is doable for you, or a seated position, cross-legged if that is better. In your sitting position, do be upright, and then bring both arms up, elbows in front of the shoulders. Your aim is you're getting your forearm bones parallel to one another, but shoulder distance apart. So I always read this turning side on. So elbows are in line with your shoulders height, but also straight in front of. Parallel the forearms and then lift your head. So if your elbows have gone in line with shoulders outwards, you need to watch the screen and take them in front of you. So thinking prepositions, take a deep breath in. Exhale, draw your shoulder blades back, shoulder blades down away from your ears. Elbows and forearms are still in the same geographic location. Inhale, reach the elbows forward. So elbows and forearms are reaching forward, shoulder blades are spreading, but the head is lifted. Without moving your elbows, exhale, isometric squeeze your elbows in towards each other, but get the forearms so they stay truly parallel. So your aim is this inward squeeze to fire up your chest muscles, but also into your underarms. With the forearms, see if you can tease them to work outwards a little bit more. You should feel the muscles around your shoulder blades having to fire up a little bit more. Now preserve this. Inhale, bring your arms up so your forearm bones are pointing towards the ceiling. It's way harder than it sounds. Exhale, bring the arms down. All right, now, what probably happened is as your arm went up, your hand got tighter to your shoulder, and it seemed like your arms went up. They did not. So from here, keep the arms as they are. The ulnar blade, you want to keep it up. Inhale, bring your arms up. Maintain the angle and see if you can do it without your head moving. It's very challenging. Exhale, bring your arms down. So if I can see you, I want you to know that sometimes your head is moving and it seems like your arms are moving, which is not quite true. So that is what is happening when you are working without any assistance, without using, for example, the floor. This next drill is to help create this action in the arms, in this wrapped shoulder position. My wrist sensitive people, you can do this in Dolphin, but it requires you to walk your feet in and out. So I'm just going to show you that super quickly. You've done this with me before. So wrist people, I do not want you to burn out your wrists today. So you can work that same sensation in Dolphin, walking the feet in pretty tight and walking back and remembering to lift the head up. That is creating that change from here to here and getting that action. Alternatively, if you don't have any wrist stuff going on, you're working turbo dog glides. So if you watch first. So turbo dog glides is not down dog. The elbows are bent, shoulders are doing that same action and lifting between the shoulders. It starts in this turbo dog with the knees lifted, inhaling to shift forwards, staying with the elbows bent, lifting between the shoulders, lengthening the neck, exhaling to glide back, aiming to wrap the shoulders even more on the way back. Every journey should help you feel that you are engaging more and more thoroughly into the lats and into the serratus, but it's a bit challenging, obviously. Okay, so if you're deciding that today you want to be a dolphin, be a dolphin. You're coming down onto clasped hands. Elbows are about shoulder distance apart. If today you do not feel like a dolphin, then your hands can be forwards. Maybe dolphins are too playful for your liking. So you can bend the elbows. If you're doing turbo dog, exhale, draw your shoulder blades back, shoulder blades down. Inhale to lift up the space between your shoulder blades. You get that protracted state. Exhale, squeeze the elbows and forearms inwards, and then tuck the toes. This is turbo dog, elbows stay bent. Now if you're doing dolphin, you're walking in and back. I like to do exhale, walk in, inhale, walk back. Turbo dogs, you're doing inhale to go forwards, elbows stay bent, scoop your ribs forwards and lift between your shoulder blades. Exhale, glide back, elbows are bent, elbows are squeezing towards each other more on the way back. Inhale, go forwards. Remember to lift your head, so you're looking forwards, but chin is tucked. Exhaling to glide back. Do 3 more of your chosen. So aiming to get the underarms really firing up. So dolphin people, it's also technically an abdominal, so you're piking your hips up, which is a really great thing to practice. So if you're doing turbo dog, you can always save the other one for a rainy day, like today. So turbo dogs, when you're done with your additional 3, then set your knees down and then come up. So you should feel, you've definitely got a feel for what that wrapped shoulder feels like. You're coming into dolphin with leg lifts. A few weeks ago, we looked at doing this pose with a foot on the wall. If you wish to do that, you are welcome to. I find it particularly useful if you feel like your lower back is limiting you in how far you can get that leg up. You might find putting the foot on the wall and driving the heel up gives you good height. Alternatively, come down onto your elbows, grab your upper arms to measure how far apart we're going to set the elbows, and then set the forearms so they are parallel to one another. Shoulder injured, you might find that clasping the hands gives you a better and easier way to work that wrapped shoulder. Inhale, lift up between your shoulder blades, similar to what we were just doing. Exhale, flex your chest muscles, elbows and forearms squeeze in, and then tuck the toes, lifting the knees up. Left toes stay pointed down. Inhale, lift the left leg up. So you're not throwing your hip wide. So if you know that you have been instructed to kind of topple the hips over to get height, focus on being level for now. Today's going to feel like quite a linear session with these front back lines. Take another deep breath here. Exhale, lower the left leg down without collapsing in your pelvis. So did your pelvis go into that massive tuck tailbone position to bring the leg down? Inhale, lift the right leg up. Drive the heel up, thigh bone is reaching away from your pelvis. Alright, now exhale, set your knees down and then bring yourself up. The next pose technically isn't done in Forrest Yoga, but hey, we're going to do it anyway. So it is a chest opener. Forrest Yoga tends to do its chest opener using the wall. I actually quite like using the floor for this. Arm position wise, you're either going to work with your arm bent 90 degrees out to the side, palm down, or the arm will be out to the side, internally rotated, so the thumb is pointing towards the back of the mat. It is nigh on impossible for me to say which one of those you should do because the shoulder is infinitely complicated and the strategies we have around shoulders are There's not very many. So from where you are, come down onto your abdomen. Take your left arm out to the left, 90 degrees. So if you're doing the 90 degrees one, the palm is down. If already that doesn't feel great in your shoulder, you can straighten the arm out, but turn the back of the hand to be done. The right hand is going alongside your right rib, so the palm is down, and then roll onto your left hip. So you're aiming to get a bit of a stretch coming into the left side of your chest. If you have done this in a really passive way before you tip over to the side, push into your left palm or hand. Push into your left shoulder so it doesn't lift from the floor, and then roll onto that side so it's active. You're engaging those muscles. Some of you will take the top leg, so the right leg, and reach with it to create a bit of an opening into perhaps right side low belly. Maybe you're setting that foot down. But for now, we're not looking for like really tremendous flexibility. We're just looking to get a little bit of sensation there so that we can build on that. So we're kind of getting our ingredients together. Inhale, come back onto your abdomen. So switching sides. Right arm is coming out to the right. Perhaps you were doing something different on this side to what you did on the previous side. Be absolutely okay with having to do that if that's the case. So right palm is done. Left hand is there to assist. Roll onto your right hip. That top leg can start to do a bit of a reach or even setting the foot down just behind you. I like the reach because it stays a little bit more active and you can get a bit of a release into the front of the left hip. Alright, now inhale, bring yourself back through center. Bring your hands under your shoulders and then press up. So be kneeling or be cross-legged seated for this part just so you can get yourself comfortable. If kneeling is like a ticking time bomb and you can only be there for 10 seconds and it's miserable, then connecting to pleasure isn't going to happen in that position right now. You're going to play a fun game. Put a hand onto your low front ribs. Pop your ribs forwards and then bring your ribs back in, and I want you to feel the firming up of the abdominal muscles to assist that. So I want you to keep that as a constant. Lift your head, pigeon your head forwards, and then tuck your chin in. So you're reining your neck in. Take your arms out to the side. So this is a super fun game called Don't Touch Your Head, Don't Touch Your Back, Don't Move Your Head, Don't Move Your Back. It's a really fun game for all the family. I'm sure you'll share it with everyone you know. Take a deep breath in, because it's about not touching. Exhale, reach left arm up, right arm down. So this is the game the world needs right now. Nobody's touching nothing. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, move the hands towards each other. Do not touch the hands. Do not touch your head. Do not touch your back. Do not move your back. Do not move your head. Inhale, bring the arms back out to the side. If you've got long hair, don't touch that either. Exhale, reach right arm up, left arm down. So some of you might have shaved the back of your head just to win this game. Deep breath in, exhale, move the hands towards each other. So both hands are working towards the back of your space as you move them towards each other. Right elbow is still pointing up rather than out to the side, so that does make things easier. It's not what we're looking for. Inhale, bring the arms out. So this is very active. Okay, so we've done one round. Come on to all fours. We're continuing with that sensation. So I will also stress, this is also not Forrest Yoga. So if you're, going to write a complaint letter, here's your excuses, here's your timestamps. So draw your shoulder blades back and squeeze them towards each other, and then press and lift between the shoulders. So there's an active pushing down. Inhale to reach your left arm forwards, and then lift your head enough that you can see your hand. Exhale, turn the left palm to face up. Inhale, lift the arm up. Be honest if the ribs buckle down in order to create that lift. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, open the arm out to the left, rotating the arm so the palm faces up. And bring the hand to point in a creepy manner towards your right shoulder blade. Inhale, bring the arm back up, sweeping the arm around, rotating as you go. Exhale, bring the arm down. So these are movements that we'll be using a lot in this class. Lift between the shoulders, take the right arm forwards. If you're tighter in your shoulders and upper back, just be aware that there will be a tendency to drop your head. Inhale, reach the arm. Exhale, turn the palm to face up. That's actually very challenging. Inhale, lift that up. Exhale, rotate the arm out to the left. Ribs are staying level. So your arm is rotating around with the aim of pointing towards your left shoulder blade, but you're not touching your back. Inhale, bring the arm back up and around, sweeping it towards the front of the mat. Exhale, bring the arm down. Let's make this more fun. Lift between your shoulders. If your shoulders are feeling exhausted, just you wait, honey, by 6:30, you're gonna feel wrecked. I hope you've already brought the teacup down from the cabinet. Reach the right leg back, take your left arm forwards. It's fun already. Inhale, lift up through that left arm, but spin the palm to face up. Exhale, see if you can get that wrap happening even more, so the palm is definitely facing up. Inhale, lift the left arm. Exhale, open the arm out to the sides, rotating around, aiming to repeat that same action, but now you're having to focus on balance as well. Inhale, lift the palm, sweeping it around towards the front of the mat. Exhale, bring the arm down. All right, bring the leg down. Change legs. Left leg is going back. Suddenly there's a lot to think about. Inhale, reach the right arm forwards. Exhale, spin that right palm to face up so there's a fully wrapped shoulder. Make sure your back isn't buckling, so press down into that left arm. Inhale, lift the left hand up. Exhale, reach around, so you're not lifting the ribs are staying level as it travels around. That right hand is moving towards your left shoulder blade. Inhale, lift the hand in that place, and then bring it around, all the way back towards the front. Exhale, bring the arm down, bring the leg down. Okie dokie. We're going to return to that later. So these actions are what make up a lot of the back bends that you'll see in yoga classes. They make up a lot of the things like eagle arms and all these rotations. If you are used to just doing them passively, like, oh, I found my arms in archer and I suppose it will work over time, it does bugger all. If you're actually building the strength pathways to get them, rather than just hanging out once you've got them, I think you're going to get way more out of it. So we'll see. Let's treat it as an experiment. Stand up. Come to the front of your yoga mat. So we're moving into sun salutations. Some of you have flagged up wrist issues. When you are stepping back from lunge to come down onto the abdomen, it can come down any way you need to. You don't need to do chaturanga. If you know that your wrists get aggravated by lots of chaturanga, you've probably done enough chaturanga in your time to take a night or a week or a month off of doing them without losing anything. I think you'll be fine. Knee sensitive. If you want to have additional padding for knees, I'm on 2 yoga mats for that. Maybe you're setting down a blanket so you have that. Stand with the feet about hip distance apart, near to the front of your mat. Shift the weight towards your heels and then let the thigh bones sit back a little bit. Tuck your tailbone down so you feel the low buttock muscles firing up, and then bring your hands together at chest. Connect to your intent. So the first part was breathing in a way that was really expansive, almost as absorptive as possible, but then also beginning to lean into sensations of pleasure and delight. Inhale, bring the arms up. Feel for your arms pulling towards the back of the mat. Forward bend. Exhale. Lunge. Left leg steps back. Set the knee down. Inhale, bring the arms up. Press down into both feet. Tailbone tucks down. Plank. Exhale, step back and lower down to the ground. Remember, wrist sensitive. You can find another way there. Low cobra. Prop up on your elbows. So we're going to spend a moment here in this low cobra. Go for elbows under your shoulders, pretty much. Collapse down into that space. It's not going to feel like somewhere you wish to inhabit for very long. And then press down into your elbows so you feel your shoulder blades are drawing down. So this gives you a sense of lift. Lift the skull but tuck the chin. So especially if you find that you're looking at a screen and it's down below, make sure your head is up. Exhale, tuck your tailbone towards your heels, press the feet down. Stick the hands to the floor and pull with them so the elbows lift. So you're physically dragging your chest forwards. So pretty much throughout this class, every time you're doing these smaller back bends, your aim is to feel your chest pulling forwards away from your pelvis rather than shoving and feeling like your arms are straightened and pressing and compressing your lower back. Your aim is to pull away from there. Downward dog. Exhale, lower. Bring the hands underneath your elbows. Tuck the toes, lift the knees up. Lunge. Have a look between your hands. Step the left foot through in between your hands. Right knee goes down. Inhale, bring the arms up. Press into your feet, but let yourself get into your legs a little bit. So not flopping, but pressing into the feet so they're active. Forward bend. Exhale, hands down, step forwards, neck relaxed. Inhale, scoop your chest forwards, come all the way up towards standing. Exhale, hands come together at chest. So now moving more one breath per movement, and maybe that's something that you really take a lot of pleasure in. So enjoy it. Inhale, reach up. Forward bend. Exhale. Lunge, right leg back, knee down. Inhale, bring the arms up. Plank. Exhale, hands down, step back, bend elbows and lower. Low cobra, arms come forwards. Inhale, pull with the arms. So your elbows are in front of the line of your shoulders. Downward dog. Exhale, hands come back under. Tuck toes, lift knees. Lunge. Inhale, right foot steps through between the hands. Left knee goes down. Arms up. Tuck your tailbone down. Press into both feet. Forward bend. Exhale, step forwards, neck relaxed. Inhale, chest goes forwards, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at chest. Inhale, reach up, pull the thumbs towards the back of the mat, so a little bit of a standing back bend. Forward bend. Exhale. Lunge, left leg back, knee down, arms up. Plank. Exhale, hands down, step back, drive through your heels as you lower down, so you're really getting your legs working. Low cobra. Inhale, pull with the arms. Chest is pulling forwards, but stay pretty low with the ribs. Downward facing dog. Exhale, tuck toes. Stronger day, do turbo dog. Lunge. Inhale, lightly step your left foot through between your hands. Right knee down, arms up. Forward bend. Exhale, hands down. Step forwards, hips are trying to stay as level as possible as you step. Inhale, scoop the chest forwards and up. Exhale, hands together at chest. Alright, now for delight, pleasure, joy, put the roll or the block to your upper thighs. So basically as far up there as you can get them. Have it on a medium setting. We're still doing sun salutations, you just got a passenger now. Inhale, bring the arms up, tuck tailbone down, feel for that standing back bend, send the roll or block forwards. Forward bend. Exhale, take the roll out. Lunge, right leg steps back, knee down, arms up. Plank with a roll or block in it, hands come down, put the roll back in there. Exhale, bend elbows. Low cobra with roll or block. Inhale, pull with your arms, tuck your tailbone towards that roll so the inner thighs activate. Down dog, keep your wee passenger there, lift the knees up. Lunge, step your right foot forward so you can use your hand to pull that roll forwards as you step the right foot ahead. Bring the arms up. Forward bend. Exhale, step forwards, put the roll or the block back to the inner thighs. Inhale, scoop chest forwards, push down to your feet, lift up. Exhale, hands together, chest. Inhale, reach up, another round with the roll. Forward bend. Exhale, remove the roll. Lunge, left leg steps back, knee down, arms up. Plank with a roll. Exhale, hands down, step back, bend elbows and lower down. Low cobra. Inhale, bring the arms forwards, pull with your arms, lifting the chest. Downward facing dog. Exhale, tuck toes, lift knees. Lunge, you're going to step the left foot forwards. Bonus points if you don't use your hands to move the roll or the block forwards. Arms up. You need some skills or Velcro. Forward bend. Exhale, step forwards, neck relaxed, put the roll of the block back in there. Inhale, scoop the chest forwards and up. Exhale, bring your hands onto your pelvis. You're going to keep facing the way you're facing. Thumbs are coming down onto the top bridge of your pelvis. Hands are going around the top of the buttocks. Feet are hip distance, feet parallel. Exhale, tuck your tailbone down and squeeze the roll. Send the pelvis forwards a little bit. Inhale, lift the breastbone forwards and up. Exhale, draw shoulder blades back, and just like you did in Turbo Dog, send your upper arm bones down away from your ears. So this is a standing back bend, and it's a very familiar shape from here on out. Inhale, lift the ribs forwards and up. Exhale, draw shoulders back, shoulder blades down. Inhale, release the arms. Remove the roll or the block from the inner thighs. Where we're heading, we're moving into 3 pose vignettes. This means we'll be doing 3 poses on one side, doing a little back bend, and then the same 3 poses on the other leg. So rolling with the punches. Chair. Inhale, bend the legs, reach the arms forwards. Bring your weight towards your heels and stick your butt out. Inhale, scoop your chest forwards and up. Exhale, squeeze your arms towards the back of the room. So it's a back bending chair, very unusual chair to sit in. Forward bend. Exhale, hands come down. Put your hands flat. Keep them flat, halfway lift. Inhale, scoop your chest forwards. So you're feeling for the mid-back, scooping towards the front of the mat. Plank, step back. Bend elbows and lower down to the ground. Low cobra, prop up on your elbows. Now in this low cobra, go for toes tucked. As you tuck your toes, roll your kneecaps in towards each other. So you're internally rotating each leg a little. If you know that you have an amazing facility to turn your knees in, your aim is to be pretty much parallel. Exhale, tuck your tailbone towards your heels and then pull with the heels towards the back of the mat. Inhale, pull with your arms towards the front of the mat. So arms are dragging you forwards, creating this low cobra back traction. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower down. Hands come under the shoulders. Press up and back into downward dog. Set your knees down momentarily and then sit up. So as we move through this, the B series is the thing that feels most like a flow class where you've got this chaturanga, up dog, down dog feel. If you're working with issues in your wrists, if you're working with issues in your shoulders, you are less likely to be able to work with those well at those moments of chaturanga, up dog, down dog. You don't need to do them. When I do my own practice, I usually will do my 3 poses, put my knees down, and then step to the other side. I don't need another down dog. I don't need one breath in down dog to validate myself, but it might be the thing that stops you from taking in a sense of pleasure and enjoyment because you're experiencing the discomfort primarily of doing those poses through repetition. So just be attentive. No one is making you do them. If you are doing them, do them well. Downward facing dog, if you're doing it. Warrior 2, inhale, step your left foot forwards, set the right foot parallel to the back of the mat and then come up. It's time to revisit our super fun family game. So make sure it is your left leg to step forward, so left toes point forwards, right toes are turned in, pelvis feels somewhat level. Getting ready for archer arms. Inhale, reach your left arm up and your right arm down. So if you're watching the screen, I'm no longer mirroring you just because of the way the screen is side on. Exhale, reach the arms back. So remember the game, don't touch your head, don't touch your back. Exhale, bend the arms. Move the hands towards each other, but do not touch your head, do not touch your back, and do not touch your own hands. Inhale, push into your feet. Exhale, sink into that left leg, thighs are rotating back. If your left elbow is starting to drift out to the side, get that elbow pointing up. Take another deep breath here. Exhale, perhaps the hands are moving towards the archer clasp. Alternatively, right hand can hold the left elbow. So this can help you get that opening up through the chest. Reverse warrior. Inhale, release the arms. Inhale, lift up through the right arm and lift the right ribs up away from your right thigh and lean over your right thigh. Bring the hand into your hip, your thigh, or your lower leg. Inhale, bring left arm up and over. If you're finding side bending is creating a lot of stuff in that left shoulder, you can work this pose as neck release. So especially if you've been feeling like the trapezius or the front of the neck or chest are giving you a lot of trouble, then release it here or stick with the side bend. So you get two potential options here. Stay in the pose. Inhale to lift your left low ribs away from pelvis. Exhale, pull belly muscles in. If you can navigate it, feel for lifting the left lip of your hip away from your left thigh bone. So that's the pelvis away from thigh bone. That one's an odd one. Extended warrior. Inhale, come up. Bring your hands onto your hips. Allow your right hip to go forwards and draw the left sit bone towards the right. So it turns your pelvis like about a 45-degree angle. Bring your left forearm onto your left thigh and press down through it. Inhale, reach the right arm towards the back of the mat. Rotate the arm so your thumb points down. Exhale, squeeze the right shoulder blade back and reach the palm back. If your chest has sheared forwards, bring awareness to those low front ribs and almost isolate this into the shoulders so it's active. I call this crowd control, so you're actively reaching back with that palm. And we kind of joke, like, now seasonal reference, you're stopping people from stealing your strawberries. Like, get back, they're mine. P.S. If you're in Dundee and you want some strawberries, send me a little message, I'll hook you up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your hands down. Step your feet back. Bend the elbows and come down onto the abdomen. Prop up on your elbows. So remember, if chaturangas aren't feeling good for your wrists, you can find some way to get down onto your abdomen. Put your elbows under your shoulders. If you've got your hands underneath your shoulders, those are emphatically not your elbows. Roll your knees in towards each other. In this next pose, you may have seen other interpretations of this pose, and this pose is sometimes taught with the foot not coming in towards your butt, but coming in towards the ground, which is hideous, honey. So I don't want to see that. I want to see the heel coming right in towards your butt, so you're getting into your quadricep. Now, my knee injury people, some of you, when you do that closed joint, it gets really sore in your knee. I want you to feel for probably a 90-degree-ish bend, pushing back while finding some heel to butt with a tucked tailbone. So you're activating the quadriceps and then starting to play with the edge, but without collapsing or completely closing off the knee joint. So press into your left forearm, reach your right hand back for your foot. Now this is where I was saying earlier, you might need a strap if you find you can't reach with the arm. But I'm also willing for you to open your chest up more to reach back and then bring it back around. As you do this, a couple of different options. If you're working just a simple grip, you can bend your elbow to bring that in. More flexible day, the hand is going from the outside edge to the inside edge, thumb pointing up, and then spinning the fingers the same direction as the toes. That one is a little bit more confusing. Inhale, square your chest forwards. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. Wherever you are, do a wee bit of push back on that right foot, so it's pushing into the hand. More flexible day, pull with your left arm to lift the left elbow. You certainly don't need to, and it's still quite early for that. So just see what feels appropriate. I mean, you might be doing back bends all day and decided to take a wee break, and sadly, it's back bends again. All right, now inhale, release that leg. Set up your right forearm. Make sure you're not in that collapsed place. You're pressing down. Exhale, reach back for that left leg. Bringing the heel in towards the butt, maybe doing a simple grip. Or you go up and over the hill, onto the inside of the foot, and easing the leg in. Your decision-making process this evening, hopefully, is based around what feels good. So what is going to bring you a sense of delight? And yeah, we could have a conversation that maybe you have a compulsive attitude, and if you don't achieve, you don't feel any sense of success or delight or pleasure. Feel for it in this moment rather than thinking about your achievements later. What feels good now? Can you do that? Can you do more of that? So for some of you, pushing the foot into your hand and waking up more is going to feel good. Some of you, lifting the right elbow will feel good. So if you're doing the elbow lift, it's a pull with that right hand versus a push. If it's a push, your shoulder will probably come up. If it's a pull, the humerus will be able to go down. Inhale, release that leg. And that's our first vignette. Take the hands under the shoulders, either go to tabletop or down dog. I'm a big fan of not doing down dog in between. Right foot is coming forwards, come up for warrior two. Bend down into that right leg, thighs are rotating back. Inhale, reach, right arm up, left arm down. Exhale, reach the arms back, but without shearing into the ribs. If you are, you're probably going to feel some pressure around your low back. Take another deep breath. Exhale, bend the arms towards each other, but they're not holding yet. So they're moving in that direction, they're active. It's teaching your arms a lot about how to move in these places without being in the final position and just sort of assuming there's nothing else to learn. Take another deep breath. Exhale, perhaps navigating the rest of the way to find the clasp. If the clasp isn't fully accessible, left hand holds right elbow. Come back to a steady breath. So aiming not to make this like super fast, high octane, but the breath can run away from you still. Reverse warrior. Inhale, release the arms, lengthen out through that left side. Exhale, bring the hand into the hip, thigh or down onto the lower leg. Inhale, bring the right arm up and over. Exhale, wrap right shoulder blade towards the underarm and then lengthen out through the right side ribs, feeling space between right side low back. Maybe this is the pose that you're doing as a neck release instead. So right hand reaching towards the right thigh. Especially if neck and trapezius tension is where you've been feeling a lot. The same goes for my wrist people. You might find that stretching into some of the areas around your front of the neck and chest will feel good to bring some relief to the areas that tighten and can compress the wrist. Extended warrior. Inhale, come up, bring your hands onto your hips. Allow your left hip to go forwards, right hip to scoop under, and then bring your right forearm onto your right thigh. Press down into that right forearm, similar sensation to cobra, and reach the left arm back, thumb points down. Exhale, squeeze that left shoulder back, palm is moving backwards. Inhale, lengthen chest forwards. Exhale, squeeze left shoulder blade back as you reach back through that palm. So again, this is active, it's not bending into the wrist, but switching on and firing up through that left shoulder. Inhale, set your hands down. Before you come down onto the ground, be in a seated position with your hands on your abdomen. So maybe sitting cross-legged, whatever you need to do. With the hands on the abdomen, do your inhale in a way that pushes your abdomen into your hands. And then exhale, pull abdomen in. Focus on the inhale part. Inhale, press abdomen out. Exhale, pull in. If you were using a block instead of a roll, you can totally use a block for this. Just make sure your ribs, your low ribs, aren't touching the block. If you're using a roll, it's a little bit easier to navigate with a roll because it doesn't have corners. You're going to put the roll or the block under your abdomen. To show you it can be done with a block, I'm going to use a block, even though mine is made of wood, which I don't recommend. So it's going underneath your abdomen. Wow, pokey. Elbows are in front of the shoulders. Exhale, tuck your tailbone towards your heels. Inhale, push your abdomen into the block and scoop the chest forwards. So your aim is to feel that you can create a sense of support. If you've got a rolled up jumper, a pillow, something that you can put under the abdomen, if you don't want to use a block, do that. That will work really well. Inhale into abdomen. On the exhale, soften your abdominals, but articulate the chest forwards. You're not necessarily lowering, but the breastbone is pulling forwards more to create a wee bit more articulation. Take another deep breath. Exhale, lower down. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Press to either tabletop or downward facing dog, whichever one feels best. Warrior one. Inhale, step your left foot through between your hands. Right toes are pointing towards the upper right corner of the mat, and then square the hips forwards. Bend down into that left leg, hips and shoulders are facing straight ahead. If you've learned heel to heel alignment, I work this wider. So make sure if you drew a line back from your left heel, it would actually be out of the line of your right heel. Lift your head and then clasp your hands behind your back. Now the action you're going to do here is very focused, very deliberate. Slide your thumbs up towards your lower back. Inhale, lift your shoulder blades up, keep them up and squeeze them towards each other. Squeeze your elbows towards each other, deep breath in. Exhale, press the arms so you're doing a tricep extension without straightening the arms. Inhale, lift the breastbone. Exhale, slide your upper arms downwards. So it's a very active chest opener. Inhale, lift chest. Exhale, actively reach with the arms. So the arms haven't locked straight. Your aim is to keep a fair amount of tension there. Inhale, release the arms. Put your hands on your left thigh and then lift to your right tiptoes and turn the right knee inwards. You're getting that high lunge position. Take the right hand down underneath your right shoulder. Wrist sensitive, go for that as a fist so it's less likely to aggravate. In this position, bend into your left leg, lift the right thigh, but lower the left thigh. So it's leveling your pelvis, a wee bit odd. And then stick your butt out so you feel that the lumbar curve is there rather than a rounded lower back. So you're actively sticking your butt out. Inhale, open the left arm out to the side and rotate your chest rather than rotating your pelvis. So recall what we did in the twist at the start. You weren't twisting from your pelvis. You were twisting from your mid-back. So feel for that. Pelvis is level, mid-back is rotating. Inhale, drive down into that right arm and open up through the left. So it should feel very active. Inhale, feel for the right thigh bone lifting towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring the hands down, put your right knee down. Now this position is quite long for lunge, but we're going to stick with that. If you need padding under the right knee, do so. Bring your hands up onto your left thigh. Inhale, lift your ribs and lift the abdomen away from your left thigh. Exhale, tuck tailbone down so you feel your buttock muscles. Interlace your fingers, but keep the thumb and index finger free. So this next action in the shoulders has no wrapped shoulder. Inhale, bring the arms up. Bring your shoulder blades up towards your ears. Exhale, squeeze your upper arms back so you feel your trapezius, you feel your rhomboids working, and pull the arms towards the back of the room. So it's creating a very different sensation than if you try to spin your elbows forwards. Inhale, lift ribs, lift shoulder blades up. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades back, pull the arms back, tailbone tucks down. Inhale, release your arms, step your feet back, come down onto your abdomen, but take the hands wider than your yoga mat. So I'm going on fingertips. Have your elbows so they're off the floor, but then angle the elbows towards the back of the room. Exhale, tuck your tailbone towards your heels, press into your feet. Now just do a quick taste test with your hands. Push with them, you should feel kind of the weight kind of presses into your ribs and your abdomen. And then pull with them, you should feel you kind of get a forward range of motion. That's the action we're going to go for, the pull. All right. Exhale, tuck tailbone, press into your feet. Inhale, pull with your arms, lifting the ribs up. Exhale, pull, lower the rib cage down. Now combine it with the abdomen pressing down. Inhale, press the abdomen into the ground, pull with the arms. Exhale, lower. Inhale, pull with the arms. Exhale, lower. Now you're about to discover something fun about yourself. You're going to see what your active range is. So here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see this like, oh my god, I'm so big at backbends, someone take a photo, god. And then this happened, because the hands have come up. I want you to find where do you go where your hands can come up. So explore, what is the difference between your active and your passive range? Maybe you can get high up and take the hands off. Maybe it's lower down. It isn't necessarily about which one is right or wrong, but it's good information to know. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower. Hands under shoulders, either go to tabletop or go through downward facing dog. So whichever feels like a good thing for you to do. Warrior one, right foot comes forwards. Set yourself up so the feet are tracking hip distance apart. Left toes are pointing to the upper left corner. Knee, ankle issues, feel free to work with the left heel up. Bend into your right leg. Dennis, go longer with your stance significantly. Clasp your hands. We're now turn your chest to face forwards and pull your low ribs in. So we're doing this active clasp with the hands, so active chest opener. Inhale, slide your thumbs up towards your low back. Bring the shoulder blades up. Exhale, squeeze them back. Squeeze the elbows towards each other and gradually work your arms straighter. So just to be clear, the elbows are drawing towards one another and then triceps are extending but without straightening the arms. So super, super active. Inhale, lift your ribcage up. Exhale, pull the low ribs in. Tuck the chin a wee bit. Inhale, relax the arms so they kind of float around after that. Take both hands onto your right thighs, give me a good feel for the change of angle. Flip the left heel up and then bring the left hand down. Get your right thigh bone tracking a bit more parallel to the ground. Right hip down, left thigh up. Inhale, open the right arm out to the right. Make sure you're not just hinging into the shoulder joint. Turn the torso rather than the pelvis. So your shoulder can give you a good trick as to showing you you've gone really far. Your pelvis can trick you that you've gone really far. Feel for how far the mid-back will allow. And then smooth out your breathing. So aiming to return to an expansive breath anytime you're bearing less weight. Lunge. Set your left knee down. So we're going for this long lunge position. Bring yourself up. We're working with that same Kali Mudra grip. Interlace the fingers except for the thumb and the index finger. So the action in the arm is similar to what we did earlier on, that lifting of shoulder blade and squeezing of the arm back. So you're different to the wrap that we did in Turbo Dog, the elbows in. That's a very different action. We discovered that one's difficult to move. The other ones we did were different. So hands are clasped. Bring the arms up. Inhale, lift your shoulder blades up towards your ears. Exhale, squeeze the upper parts of your shoulder blades back and pull the arms back. Now the head, you could try and keep your head in line. I actually like the oppositional stretch that's received when the head is sitting slightly forwards. So I can feel into trapezius more, I can feel into rhomboids more as I get that action happening. Take another deep breath. Exhale, release the hands down. Go to down dog or into tabletop. So whichever one feels like your best feel for now. Arrow lunge. Step your left foot forwards. Right knee goes down. Now, I adore this pose. Put your hands to the inside of your left leg. Lower your pelvis first and be somewhat level. Arrow lunge is done with the knee off the floor. So your right knee, without tucking the toes, you press into the foot. Now, I want you to watch. My butt isn't going to lift. The only thing that lifts is my knee via quadricep extension. It is not crescent lunge, all right? Otherwise, I would have said, do crescent lunge. So, with the hands down, lift your right knee. Hips stay delightfully low. Now, you can stay here. This is a valid arrow lunge. Maybe you climb up onto your leg, recreating a similar sensation to the previous lunge. Maybe your arms are up. Choose the one that lets you feel a sense of pleasure and delight. Maybe those aren't words that you would use to describe your experience in arrow lunge, but reach through that right leg with the knee up. So these are big quadricep strengtheners. Take another deep breath. Exhale, set your right knee down. Lounge, lunge. Take your right hand directly underneath your right shoulder. Then take the arm forwards about a foot. Go onto the hand, wrist sensitive. You could do this on the fist if that makes it easier on your right wrist. The left arm is actually going to hug your left leg, so it's wrapped around there. Pivot, so you're aiming, so I like to lift my kneecap. I've got like weirdly mobile kneecaps. So I like to actually pick up my thigh and then twist the right hip down towards the ground. So the right shoulder blade is a high point, it's rolling up, right ribs are hanging down, left foot stays flat. So it's a side bend to get into right ribs, right side low belly. The deeper your breath, the more you're going to get out of that. If there's more weight on your right thigh than your left foot, put a wee bit more weight into that left foot. Lunge heel to butt. Inhale, bring yourself up out of there. Start in more of an upright position. Now, in this upright position, with my pelvis above my thigh, if I bring the heel in towards the butt, I'm right on top of the kneecap. So if you've got knee stuff, you might find you need to start lower and actually kind of shimmy your leg around so you're on the soft tissue above the knee and then reach back for that foot. You might find that you can't reach the foot, but you can if you're doing it twisting. So that might be your strategy to get this. If you are able to, and that isn't a restriction for you, then start this upright, but aim to kind of sink so you're no longer directly on top of the kneecap because it feels really funky. Exhale, tuck your tailbone down. Now think about the quadricep stretches that we did earlier where you were pushing your thigh away. Do the same thing here. Push into your foot, but squeeze the heel in towards your butt. Inhale, lift chest. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. Take another deep breath. Exhale, release the leg, set your hands down, come down onto your abdomen. There are 2 iterations of the next pose for you to play with. So we're working with floor bow, it's called Dhanurasana. It's a shape that we're going to use again, and you've already done a shape akin to this. Some of you will do a version that is a little bit more complex for your shoulders, so you're just going to play sensibly. So here's the stage 1 of this. Well, stage 1A. Stage 1A is holding the feet, flexing the feet, and pushing back. So this is not about lifting the thigh, it's actually about pressing back. So it's about quadricep extension, not about lower back collapse, all right? So it's a different deal. More flexible in the shoulders, you go to the inside, so you end up with a more outwardly rotated arm. So that's option A and B. But option number 2, you hold the opposite ankle, so the arms cross. It's a bit of a faff to get into, but the press back is so strong on your chest. If you have dislocating arms, that would be a disaster, so don't do that. Now, as a note, if you have traversed to the inside of the leg, it's really easy to add in too many rotations. So you want to make sure you've gone up and over the foot without breaking contact. That will keep your shoulder in a really good position. So you're thinking you've gone up and over, but you haven't let go of the foot. And then press back. If you are locked in your elbows, take a wee bend in your elbows as you do the press back, just so you maintain some tension in your biceps. So you don't want to lock out your joints, or at least I don't teach that in any of my classes. Okay, lower down. Tabletop or down dog. Exhale. Arrow lunge. Step your right foot forwards. Hands are starting to the inside, so you're getting pretty low. Unfurl the chest and upper back, so you get that forward movement, and then lift the left knee. Drive down into your right foot. Now you can be there, or bring the hands up onto the thigh, or bring the arms up. One of the things you might take pleasure in that this pose is usually brief-ish. Like you're never going to be in this like as long as you're in a pigeon. Alas. In this topsy-turvy world where people have grown fond of pigeons, Inhale, push into that front foot, lift chest. If you've got hands on thigh, you're pulling with the arms. If your hands are on the ground, you're scooping your chest forward. So thinking, how can you bring the back bend nuances into this? Lounge, lunge. Set that left knee down. Left hand starts under the shoulder but moves forwards. And the reason for this is once I've leaned into that, this is now a 90-degree angle between the arm and torso. If I had it under my shoulder, it is now significantly less than that and less fun. So right forearm braces around the right thigh. Left hand is out in front. Pivot on that left hip. So the left hip is coming down towards the ground. Left shoulder is sliding up. Right forearm braces against the right thigh. Feel where you need to relax your neck, whether it's head forwards or leaning left ear towards left shoulder. And then switch deep breathing on. If you're hearing any odd screeches from me, there are like 3 magpies currently battling to the death outside of my window. So apologies if you hear any odd squawks. Just tell yourself it was me. Alright, now inhale, bring yourself up, moving into lunge, heel to butt. So some of you might be staying in a similar position, reaching the right hand back for that foot, especially if you've got knee stuff, or come upright and reach back for that foot. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. So currently, one of the magpies is like staring right at me and is doing one of the things that crows do that I find hilarious. You know where they bob, but it looks like they're laughing? Is doing that. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, get that tucked tailbone down and push the left foot away, because we're going to use this very soon. Alright, now inhale, release that leg. Don't do a half salutation. Simply step back and watch where you're heading. So we're going to use this framework. If you've got a block, I strongly recommend you put it between your ankles. It makes worrying about the lower leg rotations less of an issue. Chances are, almost every time I see people doing poses where they're going backwards like that, the feet start to travel inwards, the knees rotate out, and then they overuse these muscles. Now, yes, they might get the pose, but it's done with zero support. So I want you to be vigilant about the feet being apart. So part 1 of this is super cute. So if you've ever seen like Dracula movies where he like spring loads out of his coffin, that's going to be you in a second. So here we are. Super fun, right? So you can put on like your creepy music and do that. So this is part 1. It isn't this, so it's not a hip thruster. Okay, so it's not that. Your aim is to feel how much your quadriceps are willing to tolerate as you go back, maintaining space in your lower back. So I'm not over back bending, to then push into the feet to bring myself back up. And we're going to use that more. Okay, so bring yourself up. You might also find that your knees will appreciate a little extra padding. So just see if that feels like a thing for you, because obviously the angle of the knee isn't staying the same as you go back. It is traveling back, so you are getting into the knee joint a bit more. Cross your arms on your chest, low back sensitive. You can do this with your hands braced around your pelvis. Inhale, lift chest. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. Inhale, lean back. Now be courageous, but don't be foolhardy. Exhale, press into your feet, bring yourself back up. It's really hard work. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, bring yourself back. Inhale, lean back. Make sure your head isn't the thing that's going. Exhale, come back. Okay. Sit back on your heels. So for a moment, just take 2 breaths sitting with your head up. All right, now, what I want you to do is, as if you were a really angry seagull, throw your head back and try and do 2 deep breaths. How'd it go? It didn't. So bring your head back up. When you were doing back bends, when you're doing drop backs, when you're doing any things like that, at no point should you completely like decapitate yourself. Your aim is in your back bends that you are creating an even bend throughout your spine rather than just hinging in your cervical and hoping, or hinging in the lumbar and hoping for the best, all right? So if you're newer to this, I want you to stick with this for a few more rounds. Intermediates, if you have a wall handy, or a door, or a cupboard, or something that you can't go through, then you're going to potentially work here. So I'm going to show you. I think I'm a good distance away from the wall. So it's the similar feel. This time, the tailbone tucks down. I don't want to lean back too much. So you're leaning back and pressing. The head is in line with the arms rather than there in that whip back position. Now obviously, if you feel more nervous about these, then you get closer to the wall and you might find that it's an easier reach for you. But this is training that movement backwards. Easier to learn here than it is if you start doing drop backs. So setting yourself up, you're near to the wall. So you're always thinking up and over. Don't be tempted to kind of cheat and go low. If you go low, you're probably going to twist your back. So feet are pressing down. You've really learned that with the physical actions we've been doing today. It does get a bit spooky, so if you're like totally freaked out by it, like just go closer to the wall, and you might find that your hands are up really high, and that's fine. It takes a while until you're like comfortable being like parallel to the floor. Yeah, it's super spooky. You totally got it, Cecilia. We were like a centimeter away from the wall. Yes, there, it's so there, it's so there, it's so there. Okay, bring yourself up from there. Now you can stay kind of where you are. We're going to take that to kind of the like ordained Camel'S position. So hands are on the hips to start with. So if you join, you know this bit, we've done this bit. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, draw your shoulder blades back, slide the upper arms down, and then perhaps bringing the hands down onto your heels. So seeing if that feels like a comfortable thing. And then the head is leaning back if it feels comfortable, but it's not completely in that like decapitated whipped back place. If that feels still pretty spooky, you can go for hands on hips and really apply pressure to your pelvis. All right, Camel Explorers, inhale, bring yourself up. Sit your hips towards your heels, you're kind of sticking your butt out, and then bring yourself up. So it just gives you a little moment of respite after that. For the next bit, you're going to use your roll or your block, wrist sensitive. Just find a way that you can work that. You might find if you're using a roll, put the roll to the inner thighs, use the block under your elbow for height. So you're going to come down onto your left side. You're essentially recreating the lunge positioning. So an angle about or greater than 90 degrees between your arm and your torso. A block or a roll to the inner thighs. And letting that left shoulder slide towards the left ear. Right hand is on the floor. So you're using this as a big side bend. Wrist groundly. You might find if you elevate yourself so your elbow is on something, whatever you've got, take the pressure off the wrist that way. Inhale, reach out through the soles of your feet. Exhale, pull belly muscles in. So your aim is to feel for a side bend, taking the pressure out of perhaps maybe some scrunched lower back muscles if they were working really hard, which they were. All right, now flip over onto the other side. So maybe this side, maybe this is the one with the wrist. Instead of thinking that big showy poses is how you demonstrate being an advanced yoga practitioner, I think being an advanced yoga practitioner is about being willing to give yourself what you need in a situation. So maybe you do need a prop under the wrist. Maybe you need something extra for support. So once you're in, you're lining up your right heel, your right hip, your right hand, and reaching out through the feet. Thighs are squeezing on the roll just enough that the inner thighs switch on. but it doesn't need to be a massive, massive squeeze. It's obviously the right ribs is the area of interest. The inner thigh squeezing is more about SI joint relief if that area compresses easily for you. I know it does for me. Keep the roller of the block where it is, come down onto your back and bring the knees above your hips. Legs are going to stay bent, clasp your hands behind your head. So these little articulations during the abdominals are actually going to be really helpful in unwinding the back after back bends. Inhale, press pelvis down. Hold your breath, curl the tailbone up, squeeze the block. Exhale, lift head and shoulders up, pull belly down. Inhale, lay head down. Hold your breath, curl tailbone up, squeeze block. Exhale, lift head and shoulders, underarms lift, belly pulls down. Inhale, lay head down. Hold your breath, squeeze the block first. Exhale, tailbone up, lift head and shoulders up. Squeeze the block a second time, belly down. So really going after that inner thigh recruitment. Inhale, lay head down. Hold your breath, squeeze block. Exhale, tailbone up, lift head and shoulders up. Squeeze the block a second time, belly down. Inhale, head down, and then set your feet down. It is Shavasana time, final relaxation pose. So for this part, choose a comfortable laying down position. Sometimes after back bends, you might like to do Shavasana belly down. Or if there's any laying down twist that you would like to do, or any hip opener, perhaps there are some moves you like to do after back bending, feel free to do those. At the end of Shavasana, I will bring you around. Begin to deepen your breath. Gradually transition your breathing back to its most absorbent and the most slowly moving breath that you can create. Move this breath around your heart. Begin to take some movement into your fingers and your toes. And then bend the legs, setting feet flat to the floor. Roll to your left and use your arms to bring yourself up towards seated. And sit tall. If you want to use any props to help you sit up taller, feel free to use whatever you wish. Bring your hands together at chest. Close your eyes. Allow yourself to track the sensations where your hands are against your chest. Maybe feeling the beating of your heart or your breath sweeping through. Take pleasure and delight in that. Take a deep breath. Exhale, bow forwards. Namaste.